Good afternoon. I appreciate you being here today and everybody online. My story is a very simple story. I love flying. And in fact, my love of flying started as a little girl in a small township called Wadville, east of Johannesburg. Now you wonder, township flying? Of course, every Saturday in my township we had a small park, and because we are not very far from a hangar in Van Dijk, a small aircrafts which would just pass by. And of course, if you know the story of the township, you will know we were told the birds and the bees story in the airplane way. So, this is how the story goes. That lucky families every Saturday will get a package in the form of a baby that gets dropped off by this flying machine. And of course, knowing that story, you can imagine we start singing the flying machine song. I know you don't know it, but that song is powerful because we'd have little girls my age singing the flying machine song. Now, why does that matter? It meant I loved looking up. I loved the gift that came with the flying machine. And of course, I had a very adventurous grandfather. My grandfather did anything and everything. So one Sunday, he says, "You love flying. Let me sneak you in the Van Dijk hangar." We go there, he tells me, this is the tarmac, this is what the flight looks like, it goes up. But why was he showing me this? He says, "I think you've got something inside of you. I want you to do exactly what is happening here. Prepare before a flight takes, decide on a destination, and then fly, because the sky is the limit." Well, I loved that story. So I went to school. I prepared. Remember, the sky is the limit. That was what I was chasing. And I was very happy with that. I prepare myself. I make myself ready to fly. There I am, in the sky, business class, going somewhere. Of course, let me land, because the story happens on land. I get doors open for me. So now I'm in flight. I'm ready. I open this door because somebody had welcomed me in seemingly, but guess what? I arrive and the room is full. I look around, I find no chair. But guess what? I'm very innovative. So I look at two little scrawny colleagues who I knew that if I just wiggled left and right, I could make my way. So I do that, and the gentlemen are very uncomfortable. And of course, somebody says, "It can't be like this. She's just arrived. Let's do something better. Let's get her a chair." I'm so happy now I've got a chair. This is the chair I'm supposed to sit in. As I try to sit in, oh my God, it's a three-legged chair. I raise my hand, "Hello, it's a three-legged chair, I'm here." And they're like, "That's the only chair available." So unlike my other colleagues, who are male, by the way, they're sitting comfortably. I am sitting preoccupied, thinking, "Dear Lord, let me not fall. Let me focus on the chair." So I'm sitting squished and all of that, and then I say, "Okay, I can deal with the chair." When you come from the township, you can do anything? Because I'll tell you that story. My grandmother used to put a paint, empty paint, and stuff, and her legs of her bed were high, so I'm thinking, not a problem. Empty paint, put soil, my chair is now solid. You would think I was comfortable, right? But I wasn't. There was no placemat. So I'm like, I'm on the table now. I'm in the room. I got a chair sorted, but I don't have a placemat. And of course, being Hlubi, and you don't know about the Hlubis, we were never annexed by Shaka. So we warriors. So I set off, and I'm like, I'm going to fight this one. I'm already in, and I'm not getting out. In Hlubi style, I pick up my spears, I'm in the battle. And of course, most of you know that battle. I fight my way up. Because remember, my grandfather told me there's only one way up. I realized that going one way up had its challenges, but the biggest challenge about it is you would not be included, irrespective of how much you tried. And in fact, the more I tried to get included, the more excluded I became. Then I began to realize I was fighting this the wrong way. It wasn't about getting women in the room. Getting in is easy. It was about me taking charge and realizing that I would need to include myself on my own terms, intellectually and with impact. And of course, all wars end in peace. I declared a treaty, and now I was stuck. Because all of a sudden, the battles that I'd fought, I had too many scratches. I had too many challenges, and I was tired. And I'm sure so many women like me get tired in this upward direction because we all want to go up. We all want to succeed up, but it's a tiring battle. Then, of course, I went back to my grandfather's story. It couldn't make sense. Why would he say the sky is the limit when I arrived there? And don't get fooled, I did get up. So the sky was becoming the limit, but the burden of getting to that limit was just too much. Then I asked myself, maybe there's more than just one way. We are brought up to succeed upwards. Perhaps there is a possibility that you can succeed sideways and succeed downwards. And then, of course, I'm at the crossroads. And then I remembered my father was a taxi owner. He owned taxis. So I used to be in the middle seat helping him count change. And I remember people would go short left. Short left means the guy wasn't really going there. It means you could command a taxi to stop in the shortest direction possible. So I declared my short left. When I began to declare my short left, I decided that I would exist in any space and every space, but I would refuse to play by everyone's rules. I'll refuse to take the direction that everyone is taking. Upwards is full. The airports are full. The tarmac is full. I would decide to go find my own way. And of course, this is how I decide to find my own way. I've got to face my own fears. So my biggest fear is the fear of flying. And guess what do? I tell my children, Mommy is going to face her fear of heights. So I go to the Soweto Towers. I get there, they tell me, something is broken, you can't jump. Okay, I Google. They say zip lining. There I go. I'm going to zip line. I'm very excited about zip lining. So I go there. I get there. They say, we're just about to close. You want to come next week? And I told myself that weekend I needed to jump because I'd taken a short left. And I needed to figure out what next. And of course, for some stupid reason, and I'll call it that for today, I decide, why not jump out of a plane? Because I've always loved flying. And of course, they tell me, we're ready for you. If you are here 6 hours later, we're good to go. With my family in tow, in the car as I go here, my first daughter says, before we go, do you have insurance? Do you have your will ready? Because we don't see you coming back. And that is significant because that's what people will tell you. And of course, my mother says, there's different ways to kill yourself. There's a poison called alipirim. Just drink that and get it over and done with. It's easy. Don't put us through the trauma. Then my second daughter says, you might fly, you might come out, but you might break your legs. Okay, that's good enough. And of course, my youngest one is a cheerleader. She says, just don't do it, Mommy. I'm still young. We still need you. And of course, as I register, they tell me, please indemnify us from your death. You might fall and die. Why am I telling you this? I then get up. And then I'm in this airplane, there are no seats, but I've got a guy behind me because I was doing tandem. This guy was my support. And of course, once you're up there, you can't come back. And of course, we go up. As we go up the window, the door opens, and you can imagine opening a door of an empty aircraft. The wind is mind-blowing. At that time, I'm thinking, I have to go back, but there's no way of turning back, because once you've defined a way, you cannot turn back. And of course, I am convinced people at flight school don't know how to count. I hear 1, 5, 8, 10, I'm out. And you can imagine flowing without knowing which way I'm going. But as we do that, the parachute opens. It goes sideways, because that's literally how it starts to flow. And then I remembered, that's exactly what I wanted to know, that you could succeed sideways. And of course, as we go through the clouds, he starts saying, remember, we are going to land. There is success in going down. And of course, I get confirmation that you can succeed sideways and sometimes succeed downwards. But what did I learn through that journey? And let me close out the first one. In the first journey where I was really Shaka Zulu's sister, I learned that you can never conquer an environment you don't accept. Some things are just what they are. And therefore, if inclusion is not in the agenda, understand that and find a brand new way. Because a whole lot of us, myself included, we've bashed a lot of our heads trying to be included in environments we shouldn't have been fighting for inclusion in, but we should have been fighting for recreating and finding our new voice, our new space. In fact, the way I saw my journey is I actually left the big table. I went and gotten myself the small kindergarten table and a small chair, and I made myself comfortable. Because for the last 7 years, I decided no one was going to define my journey. I was gonna find the way. So what does succeeding sideways mean for me? Succeeding sideways means actually abandoning the old way of doing things. It means defining that success is not about a tick box. It was about those things that are breath, those things that impact more than just you. And of course, when you try to do that in a normal environment, becoming an anomaly, you must know two things. You will become a target. And I remember walking, feeling like, people are throwing darts. Some are landing, some are not landing. But you got to live with that, knowing that if you want to create a legacy, you're going to have to forfeit your personal brand. You are going to have to take it for the trim. And for those who are biblical, you are going to have to be the sacrificial lamb, because big changes are made by small things done in an extraordinary way. Then I asked myself, succeeding downwards, what does that mean? Succeeding downwards means sometimes accepting defeat in the war you never decided to fight for. It means saying, it is enough. I'm going back to my center because everything starts on the ground. It meant building a solid base. It meant not only succeeding the way everybody was talking about it. It meant I could sell shoes and be damn good at it. It meant I could be a painter and be damn good at it. Not all roads were corporate. Not all roads are meant to go through that one big direction. When you go downwards, you begin to harness that which is sitting inside of you. And the day I began to liberate myself like that changed everything. I can waltz in a corporate and have everybody scratching their way up. In my world, I'm doing it sideways and downwards. And therefore, I'm not fighting for anything that they have. I'm trying to create something that they want, because there's more than just one way to succeed. And I think women, especially, we are trained to go into spaces which are crowded. Maybe like me, you have the curves. In my youth, we used to say this is a Mahubas Kloof and the Chwenis curve. You've come from Limpopo, which meant you could do this and that. But not all of us have got that. So I'm appealing to women who are like me, who are supposed to fly the small light aircraft, to say you don't have to be in a Boeing when the Boeing is full. Go find that small airfield and start building your own tarmac, and start buying your own fleet, and start flying your own flight plan. And of course, as I began to do that, I started feeling alone. And I started saying, people are not supportive. But my people told me, we love you. We're actually extremely supportive, but we don't support possibility. So we are with you, but not in that crazy way of possibility. So when you get into this new path, you gotta know you're gonna have to walk alone. You're going to have to love your own shadow. You're going to have to love the sound of your own voice, and that is okay too. Because guess what? The multiplicity of voices is what makes the world go round. They used to tell me it's money, but it is not. And as I said, anybody can make money. But nobody can make money in the way that they would want their great-grandchildren to remember. So I stopped scratching. I stopped fighting. And I started to plant a new root. Now you can ask me, where am I now? I don't know, but I'm walking, and I'm walking in a different direction, and I'm loving it. Now, would I ever get recognition that goes up? Hell, if it happens, that's great. But guess what? In the land of sideways and the land of downwards, we don't need recognition. We don't need inclusion. We are already on the ground. And therefore, as I talk for myself and many other women who have got small dreams, but that are supposedly manifesting in a big way with people who matter to them, that changes the whole narrative. That means women stop fighting they start fighting for something. And because we've been fighting to be included, so we're fighting against the system. We've been fighting to be part of the statistics. And I remembered when my grandfather said, there's something in you. And what he was telling me is, you are not a statistics. And my invitation is for women today to remember, you are not a statistics. You are not supposed to be counted all the way up if there's no way up. Go find your own path, but redefine how you want to succeed. And of course, in the last couple of weeks, as I was really reflecting on this journey, Kamala Harris said something important, that I'm the first, but I'm definitely not the last. And then I looked back, because the roads of sideways and downwards are empty. There is no ground. I'm now looking back. I'm building one brick at a time, a new tarmac, so that hopefully women who decide to follow my path, women who are going to improve my path, can at least find a gravel road that I've made possible for them, so that we can build a legacy that is different. So, as I conclude, I short-left it, and I'm happy. As I conclude, I'm piloting my own flight, and that's the most beautiful space you can ever be in, because every woman is unique, every journey is unique. Reward and recognition is not everything. Personal growth and contentment is the thing. Thank you.